Hi knitters, welcome back to Aro Knits and Purls. I'm your host, Aro of Aro Knits and Purls. As always, you can find my Ravelry, Instagram, Ko-Fi, Patreon, linked in the description below, as well as links to any dyers, makers, designers that I talk about in this episode. And this episode is really about how I'm planning my knits for the rest of the year. And I know some of you are going to be shocked, like Aro plan instead of just impulsively sign up for test knits. Yes, in fact, yes. But before I get into that, let me talk about what I'm wearing. This is the Fae Raglan by This Bird Knits or Annie Haas. I showed you guys this in progress and it is done and it's beautiful. I'll add a big caveat, but it's nothing to say about the design. I'll talk about the design now. First off, love these sleeves more than life. Annie incorporates incremental increases just throughout, very subtle, but throughout the whole sleeve, so that you get like a growth and then the dramatic poof of decreases at the wrist. And the poofy sleeve is just, it looks more poofy. I love a poofy sleeve. I know that it's not for everybody, but I love it. I think it makes me look extra cute and feminine, and I am a very feminine person, I think, so that's why I like it. But even my friend Megan, Kimchi & Co., who is much less ultra feminine than me, she loves the shape of this as well. Yeah, so you can take her testimony as more meaningful than mine, because if it's poofy, I love it, but for her, it's not normally that way. So yeah. I love the broken rib detailing along the raglan, the collar, and it's also on the hem, split hem. I love this. I love the fit. I love the details. Oh my gosh, I am so obsessed. However, I put it in my Instagram caption when I revealed the finished object, but I'm not in love with the color block. I think I've come to accept, I just don't like color block. And at first I thought, oh, maybe it's because I put the darker color on top, so it looks unbalanced. I don't think that's it. I really think it's just that I don't like the look of color block. So what I have come up with a solution for myself, I haven't done it yet. I wanted to show you guys so I could talk about my realization. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use like an undyed Suri and maybe a random skein or scrap of white fingering weight yarn. I'm going to knit this from the beginning again. But I'm going to stop at about 5 rows ahead of sleeve separation, because I continued using the pink after sleeve separation. So I'm going to leave about a good inch of the dark pink and then reattach it using Kitchener. Basically, I'll be doing surgery. Yeah, so I'm just going to, at the beginning of the row, it's easy to find because it was at a raglan point, so that's handy. I'm just going to do some snip and then unravel. And I know it's heartbreaking, the idea of just undoing all this, but for me, a huge part of why I am taking a break from test knitting and all that is I want to focus on what I actually like to wear and what I will wear in my wardrobe. And if I have this as it is now, I won't wear it as often as if I do this sweater surgery idea, because I just don't like the look of color block. I just don't. And it's a personal preference. Everybody's different. Some people love color block. Some people look really good in color block. And I think that's why I wanted to do it, because Annie and her sample looked so cute. And I wanted that for me. But after putting it on, I was like, this is not for me. And I have to be cool with it. So that's what's going to happen. It's sweater surgery. So send your well wishes to this sweater, because when the next time you see it, it will be very different, I think. It will. Yeah, so that's something. But again, the Fae Raglan, I love the details. I actually want to do a solid version. I have it on the list of things to do. I don't know that I'll get to it this year because I have a lot planned for this year. It's a lot. But yeah, so Fae Raglan by Annie Haas. Please support her. All her designs are gorgeous. I've test knit for her 100 times, not 100 times. I'm being facetious. I've test knit for her several times, and every time she's just a wonder to work with. So yeah, Oh, I didn't say the yarn. I told you guys this last time. So, and always, it's on my Ravelry listed. One strand of Olann Mills, their Luxe sock. So it was a baby alpaca blend, baby alpaca silk blend. So very luxe. And one strand of Woolberry, Suri. And then the bottom is Ritual Dyes, Fae Mohair in the colorway Jadeite. So it's a very strong minty color, but it has these like orange speckles that you see here, and a strand of Chrysalis yarns, Suri, in the colorway Chrysalis. Okay, I remember that all off the top of my head. So that's what the yarn is, but really like love this pattern. Can't wait to save this sweater so that I actually wear it. Okay, now we get to what I'm working on. So the mint continues with this. I didn't show you guys this because I forgot the bag to be close to me when I started recording, and you guys know me, I like to do single takes. I don't want to get up and stop and all that stuff. So this is what I'm working on. It's called the Weronica. It's like spelled like Veronica, but it's with a W. So Weronica. I mean, if we're German, we would say Veronica because they say the W is like a V. But anyway, this is, you'll notice it has a wide neckline because I haven't attached the neck. I normally hate showing you guys an unfinished neck because I hate the way an unfinished neck looks. But I haven't done the necktie yet. And the necktie, it will literally go around the entire thing and have excess so that I could tie it into a ribbon. So you get this little keyhole effect. The finished objects from people, like their photos, look so cute. It looks adorable. Oh my gosh. The detail that I really love about this, first off, it's the folded over hem, which is one of my favorite finishes just because it looks so neat. It's just knitting and then one roll of purl and then equal distance of knitting so you can fold over on the back and knit two together for the stitches on the inside seam and on the outside. Look up folded over hem if you need details on how to actually do it instead of me just rambling. But I love the details on this. First off, the side is this gorgeous cabling detail that runs down, and look how good it looks in the mint. It's glowing. Yes, I used the original mohair that I planned for this in this one because it goes so well together. But anyway, I'll show you the yarn in a second. Love the cabling detail, and actually this sweater is going to have similar poofy sleeves, but this one's going to be different because the poofy sleeve, this part, the ribbing on the sleeve, is actually going to be cabled like on the side here. So there's going to be cabling detail running up the sides and the necktie, and it's just going to be so pretty. The designer, Vert and Rose, she is so lovely. She has so many beautiful designs, and she always reaches out when she has really, really good designs, like pullovers for me, especially because you guys know I don't really like making cardigans and I hate seamed things. So if it's like in the round, top down, that's for me. So she reaches out when she has designs like that. She's like, are you interested? And when I saw her sample, I was like, I absolutely am, because like all of these feminine details are so me that it was just, it would be ridiculous if I didn't test. The yarn choice that I did, I just want to keep showing off this cable detail because it looks so good. The yarn choice that I did is Moondrake in the colorway Frozen, which was this perfect mint. I had her soft sport, so it's a sport weight, and a strand of Ritual Dyes Fae mohair in the colorway Lamb's Ear, which was the lighter mohair that I was talking about. And if you look at like an episode or two beforehand, you'll see the yarns unwound, but together they are just transcendent. I am so excited. It's going to be perfect for spring. I have this white twill skirt that is going to be perfect to pair with this. It's going to look like I'm dressed for a like a tea party in an English garden, but like in a fairy English garden, just like bump it up to fairy tale level. I'm really excited about this. I just need to actually do it. Yeah, so that one I'm really excited about because it's a design that I know I will wear because it is so ultra feminine. It'll be like a fun dress up day. slash Tuesday. I say the slash Tuesday because I know some people, they make like fun knits like that in like super feminine colors as different to what they usually wear, but that's like literally how I would dress to the office. So yeah. Okay, so another whip I have been working on is the Moonset Pullover by Ozetta. And I have come a long way. Funny story, I should have been a lot farther, but I had to undo one of the front panels completely. What happened was, I'm pretty good at picking up stitches. It used to be my weakest point, but I'm pretty good at it now. Like, that's where the stitches were picked up. You can see the stockinette continues. There's a little bit of difference in the tension on some of the stitches on the back because there's short row shaping all along the back where you pick up. But anyway, so what happened was, I'm pretty good at picking up stitches, but her picking up stitches instructions were written in a way that I started to second guess myself. And so then I was like, well, let me try the way she's suggesting. And this was on the first one. So like I did that and I was like, this doesn't look right. So when I did the next panel, I did my way and I was like, oh yeah, it definitely wasn't the right way. I think I just misread her instructions and that's what happened. I just misread what she was trying to explain. So because I am a little bit of a perfectionist in some things, definitely in picking up stitches, I just went back and ripped it all out. And this was the first time Sterling, my boyfriend Sterling, has seen me rip something out. And he was just like, wait, you're just gonna undo it? And I was like, yeah, it's not how I want it. It's gonna bother me, so I'm just gonna undo it. And he's like, but how long did that take you? And I was like, oh, it was just like an afternoon. He's like, but that's so much. You're just gonna undo it? Like he was shocked. So he's gonna learn a lot. He's gonna learn a lot just being next to me. But yes, so I know I originally showed you guys a white that he had picked out. I realized that when we first started talking about it, when I showed him the page of the pattern by Ozetta, he really liked the brown color, but I was like, I don't have any brown. But it turns out I do. I have this color, which is a stunning pink neutral brown. It's Explorer Knits and Fibers in the colorway Nutcracker. It was included in her winter pop-up that she did in December in Denver. And it's indescribably pink / brown. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe, so Darcy, after she watched my last few videos, she was like, I knew my ears were burning. You were talking about me all the time. And now I'm gonna do it again, Darcy, I'm sorry. But like, now I'm paranoid that every time I do something like slightly beige, slightly neutral, she's just gonna be like, But I'm sorry, it's such a good color. And to remind you guys, I am doing this one, a non-test knit, because my friend, Andrea, the knitting PT, is coming into town to Salt Lake. This is her first time visiting. Megan and I are so excited, and we're gonna do squad photos. So we all wanted to do one of the moon sets. I'm doing the pullover, Andrea's doing the tee. I believe Megan is gonna try and do the pullover, but if she gets short on time, she might do the tee. We'll find out. But yeah, so I've already done the pullover. I was part of the test knit group, and I thought like, oh, I'm familiar with this, it'll be fine. But the problem is when you've knit so many items in a year, and like I think I said, last year I knit 32 garments, the year before I knit 31 garments. So when I cast this on and I looked at the instructions, I was like, oh, my brain is smooth. It's like a marble. I have no recollection of this. So it really did feel like I was starting from scratch. But luckily, Ozetta's patterns, they are very clear, the instructions, except for the picking up stitches. But I think that's just because I'm dumb. Except for that one. Yeah, except for that one, all her instructions are very clear. I wouldn't recommend it for a beginner knitter or an experienced garment knitter. I would say have a few garments under your belt because this is not a intuitive by any means. It's not an intuitive construction, but if you can read instructions and you feel confident in your ability to like just look stuff up if you don't understand, very, very good. I love Ozetta's patterns and they are so flattering. My Moonset pullover, the one I used to have, I gave it to one of my aunts in Korea. It's it was one of my favorite garments. So I'm really excited to have another one in a neutral color. And I did want to talk about how proud I am of myself. So even though I'm good at picking up stitches, when I do it my way, when I do it the way I know I can do, I have always been really bad at seaming. I don't like seaming. I'm not good at seaming. If there's seaming in your pattern, I probably don't want to do it. It's just who I am as a person. But there is just seaming along the back ribbing edge of the neck. And I just want to point out how well I did. Like, I know it's poor form to congratulate yourself, but I don't care because I'm so proud of myself. That looks so neat, you guys. It looks so neat. And it's the neatest I've ever made a seam in my life. Other than 3-needle bind off, but I don't even think that really counts. 3-needle bind off is its own thing. But this was like the first time needle and thread going through, and it looks so good. I just wanted to congratulate myself. So good job, Aro. Yeah, anyway, so very excited about this. And squad photos leads me into what I've been scheming. So what I've been scheming is, I told you guys last episode that my friends and I are going to Rhinebeck. It is happening this year. We are going to Rhinebeck. We're very excited. We have the cutest little Airbnb. Couldn't be more excited. But then I reached a point where I was like, oh my God, now I have to think of a Rhinebeck sweater. And because I am me, I can't just have one Rhinebeck sweater. I'm thinking at least 3, but we could go more. We could. So I have 2 for sure that I have planned, and I will show them to you. Well, I'll tell you about them right now. So the first one for Rhinebeck for sure is the Dornie sweater by Creabea. It is an all over cable pattern using the Wandering Flock driftwood. I showed you guys this when I got it at Vogue Knitting Live, and I told you guys this is what I wanted to make with it from the very beginning, because Geraldine, the Wandering Flock sample of this colorway was, I believe it was White Lotus. It was a cable pattern as well. And the slight speckling just looks so good in cabling that I was completely obsessed. And I know that Geraldine's worsted weight is thicker, so it would be perfect for the Creabea's Dornie, because Dornie calls for Irene on its project page. So a thick worsted does the job. I've seen other people's projects, and it seems like there's going to be no issue so long as I'm on gauge. So that is what I will be doing. It will be one of my Rhinebeck sweaters. And then the other Rhinebeck sweater that I have for sure is another Wandering Flock goodie. So remember I showed you guys these also when I came back from Vogue Knitting Live. This is the colorway Marie Antoinette, just this perfect pale pink. It glows. And then this Moonstone, it's mohair, obsessed. It's the perfect lavender. Even not lavender loving people love this. And I actually, like, so many of you like went out and got this after I showed it to you. And I have to say, I don't blame you one bit. Clearly, I don't blame you because I am obsessed. But what I'm making with this, I'm gonna hold them together to make a Seasons pullover by Ozetta. Like, I love Ozetta's designs. They are so easy to wear. The construction is fun. She doesn't do true seams, so you know I love that. But the Seasons is something I've always wanted to make, and I think the marling look with this will look really beautiful. And even though Seasons can be more, she does like androgynous palettes. She does very beige, heavy, white, cream, or dark gray. I'm obviously going a little bit more fairy tale. Shocking, I know. But I think the classic silhouette in the transcendent color combination, I think will actually be a really fun play on each other. So that's what I'll be doing for Rhinebeck. That's 2 of the sweaters. I still have room in my, I'm planning out my knits, and I think I still have room for another 2. Definitely 1, but another 2 hopefully. So I'm going to keep thinking about ideas. I have a few, and I will leave that to talk about at the very end. because another thing I have to get ready for that I want knits for, I have wanted to go to Iceland for my entire life, basically, since I first saw a picture of Iceland. I love hiking. You guys know I often go hiking alone out here in Utah, and the sights in Iceland just look incredible, like another planet. And I've always wanted to go, and this year for my 30th birthday, my boyfriend Sterling and I are going to Iceland, and we're only gonna be able to spend about 6 days or 6 nights there. We have everything booked already in terms of places to stay. I'm still finalizing where we're going to like actually visit. We're mainly staying around the Ring Road and primarily Golden Circle. If we had 10 days, I would have loved to do the entire country, but we just don't have time with his work schedule. So anyway, long story short, I'm going to Iceland. I'm so excited. So I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, and I'm sorry, you guys, but like Icelandic wool is too itchy for me. I know everybody's really excited, like, oh, you have to go to all these stores and get Icelandic yarn and blah, blah, blah. The thing is, I had someone gift me Icelandic wool before, and it was just too itchy. You guys know me, I like smooth. If it's not smooth, it has to be soft and fluffy, like Suri or mohair. Icelandic wool is neither smooth nor soft and floofy. Like, I know some people can touch the rustic wool and be like, oh, but it's so soft. I think it's called like Istex, Litlopi, Istes. The big brand that everybody uses when they talk about Icelandic wool, it's just not for me. That's not to say it's not great. It has great attributes, I'm sure. I just can't put it on my skin, and that's just a personal preference. Please don't hate me. I'm so sorry. I do have it on my list of things that I must do on this trip, and that is see sheep. I want to see Icelandic wool. I don't want to make with Icelandic wool. But I really love the Icelandic knitting traditions and the designs. So what I am going to do is I'm going to use the yarn I have, the smooth yarn I have, to make Icelandic designs. And one of them for sure is an Icelandic designer. I know because I've looked at her profile. Everything that she writes is in Icelandic. She also has English translations though, for the patterns. And I also can't pronounce her name. It's quite long and it's very Icelandic, and I will not even attempt to butcher this so badly. It will be in the description below. But the pattern I'm talking about is called Kaldagil. So when I say Icelandic tradition of knitting or Icelandic designs, if you're not familiar, Icelandic designs often incorporate, well, it's usually color work, and very bold designs, high contrast color work generally, bold designs, usually a nature motif, whether it's flowers or, yeah, so it's going to be either nature or it's going to be geometric, like very strong geometric. And the pattern that I'm talking about, Kaldagil, again, if I'm mispronouncing that, I'm so sorry. It's going to be linked in the description below. I'm really excited about it, although she designs hers bottom up for some reason, because when I look at it, it just looks like a circular yoke. I think I might just get the pattern and then reverse engineer it so that I can just knit it top down. Because if you give me a choice between top down with a little bit of work as to rejudging the pattern or bottom up, I'm gonna pick the one with more work because it means I can do top down. I just like that construction better. And that's one of those things I've learned about myself from knitting so much, that I'm really grateful for. I learned that I hate bottom up. Generally, if I can avoid it, I will. So, Kaldagil by a great Icelandic designer that will be linked in the description below. And the other one is called Reykjavik Soft by Meiju Knits. I don't think Meiju Knits is Icelandic. I think she's some kind of Scandinavian, maybe Finnish. I think Finnish. But it's a very Icelandic design, obviously based on the name Reykjavik Soft. I have yarn on its way for that. So once it gets here and I can see it and see if it'll work, I will let you guys know. And the other design that I have in mind is by Jenn Steingass called Dreyma. It's a really simple, heavy Icelandic design. So those are the 3 that I hope to make by the time I go on this trip. It'll be for my birthday, so the end of July. So I have a lot of time, but yeah. So some of the yarn options that I have, other than the ones already on their way. So Witchfire Fibers, I showed you guys this, I think maybe 1 or 2 episodes ago. Verdant. It's this beautiful blue-green. And the other is Skellig by Explore Knits and Fibers, Allie. I kept wanting to say Allie, and I was like, no, what's her business name? What's her business name? Explore Knits and Fibers. So this is called Skellig. It's from her Ireland collection, as you can see from the special Ireland label. And I originally wanted to just use her Ireland collection to actually, like, when I go to Ireland myself one day, it's on my list of places to go. But I was like, you know, it's silly to just be so attached to an idea that you have no idea when it's going to actually happen. It's a beautiful colorway, and I think it'll contrast really well with like the beautiful lush green that I will see in Iceland, because Iceland in the summer is very lush, as well as Ireland, so it'll have a similar vibe in certain areas. So yeah, I'm going to use Skellig, and I'm probably going to use Verdant for another one, and Reykjavik Soft will be in another colorway combo that I will show you guys when it gets here. But yeah, so lots of ideas swimming around in my head. Other things that I've thought about. So I told you guys I'm taking a step back from test knitting, because I realized that oftentimes I wasn't thinking about whether I would actually wear the garment. I was just thinking about, I want to make, rather than the next step, which is, for me, making is about being able to wear my makes. Everybody has different priorities when it comes to making, and I love that about knitting. But for me, it's very much like I want to use the finished object that I put so much time and effort into. And that's, you know, for me. So when I signed up for test knits, it would often, because there's a time element, right? Like you want to get your application in as soon as possible so that you have a higher chance of getting in. So it would prevent me, like it would remove the time element that I have to like stop and think about it and think, well, do I actually have time to make this? Well, am I actually going to wear it? Stuff like that. So I'm taking a step back from test knitting, which isn't to say I'll never test knit. I do still love the process of test knitting, and I have lovely designers that I work with and I would love to keep working with, but I am being more mindful, and being more mindful means taking a step back from as many as I normally do, because having 3 at a time consistently over the past 3+ years, it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of you. And like I said, I've knit 30+ garments for the past 2 years every year. I think I just want to take a little breather. And especially like after I started gifting a lot of my makes to my family members in Korea, and even here, I started thinking like, oh, it's because I don't actually love this. I don't actually love to wear it. And when you have that realization, it's really hard to justify spending, you know, a week or 2 on a garment when you don't really want to wear it when it's done. So all that to say, taking a step back from test knitting, I'm really excited about just knitting for fun, because that'll be really nice. And also thinking about like what I have already, maybe reusing it. So one of them, I think I showed this to you guys in the summer. So this was, I think it was called the Georgia or Georgette by Calibri. It's a tank top that has these big old ties for, like, it was really pretty, but the thing is, I don't like tank tops. I signed up for it because it was pretty, and I made 2 actually. I made a gold one and I made this green one, but I don't like wearing tank tops. If I do wear tank tops, it's like with a jean jacket over it. But because of these bows, these big old bows, you can't really wear a jacket over it. So I realized when I had this done, I was like, well, I'm not actually gonna wear this. I wore it like once for the photo, finished object photo, and then I never wanted to wear it again because I just don't like tank tops. So I'm going to reuse the yarn, and I do have some of it left. This is Knitting for Olive. Their silk. It is the colorway Dusty Artichoke. It's pure silk, which is really cool. And I love this color. I'm gonna reuse it. It's great summer fiber, by the way, if you've never used this. But yeah, so I'm going to unravel this and use whatever I have left to make a Flora sweater by Irene. Oh, no, that's not what I want to do. The Kaarina Tee. Yes, okay, Kaarina Tee. It's an upcoming design by Sari Nordlund. It's all over cables, but using a summer fiber, it'll be nice and light, and it will have a beautiful drape with silk. Oh my God. And the sleeve, like, it goes down a bit because I don't like cap sleeves. I don't like tank tops. No. Cap sleeves, no, hard pass. And I also don't like even just like a short sleeve. But this, even though it is short sleeve, the Kaarina Tee is actually quite loose. It's kind of a flutter sleeve look, and I do love a flutter sleeve. So I really, really want to make the Kaarina Tee for the warm weather that will eventually happen in Salt Lake. So I'm just gonna repurpose the yarn because it's so silly to have something just lying around that I'm never gonna use and never gonna wear. And it's really good yarn. It's pure silk. And I love this colorway. So yes, it will be repurposed and reused, and I think I would be a lot happier for it because I really don't like, you know, putting time and effort into something, and especially yarn, and just not loving it. And that's not to say anything against the design. Again, I liked the process so much, I made two, but I have to be more honest with myself about what I'm actually gonna wear and what I actually like to wear. But the Flora sweater I mentioned because I'm on a green kick. I'm gonna use this colorway. So this one is Explorer Knits, obviously Explorer Knits and Fibers, but the colorway Docile, and the Flora sweater by Irene. It's this beautiful, like, it has like tulip edging, cable detail. It's very feminine, but very organic in its look. And I thought this green would be perfect for it. I've actually been saving this green for a really long time just because I wanted to find the perfect pattern. And I think that would be it. I'm on a green kick. I think it's because I really just want it to be spring. I just want it to be spring. It's snowing again. It's the end of March, like the last day or two of March, and it's snowing again. So I want it to be spring, and I'm begging for all these spring colors and pastels to just come with a vengeance, but here I am waiting. Anyway, I know this episode was a little bit more rambly. It's just I've been thinking a lot about making. I haven't been making as much. I've just been, you know, plugging away at what I have, but I've been thinking a lot about making, and I hope that maybe my thought process is beneficial to y'all. If you have been struggling with the same things or not, I don't know. But yeah, I think that I'm turning over a new leaf because of the green. Haha, no, please don't hate me. But yeah, so I hope to show you guys more of my mindful making as the Aro that you know and love changes aspects of herself, and maybe you'll like it, I don't know, but I think I will, and that'll make me happy. Okay, thanks y'all for stopping in. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.